Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, wizard, you shall not pass! Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian, Sir Ian. Hello and welcome to the Friday Fantasy Show from the Bottled Imp, exploring the realms of fantasy. My name is Ken Boyter and today we are looking at The Lord of the Rings, Part 3, The Return of the King. Now this was released into the cinema in 2003. Yes, I know, that long ago. Directed by Peter Jackson, of course, with a whole host of stars. Now, as this is part 3, I've been watching these special extended DVD versions. Oh yes, they're 3 hours 45 each, pretty much. So, parts 1 and part 2, that's over 7 hours, if my maths is correct. And there's more. It just keeps giving. This is the gift that keeps giving. Now, this is part 3. This is where it all gets wrapped up. And if you've not seen Lord of the Rings, oh, you are in for a treat. But let's just find out, just how well do they wrap the trilogy up? So just what is the setup of The Return of the King? Well, it's all kicking off. Oh, yes, it's all kicking off. Sam, I'll give you a bit of an overview, really, of the main events, really. I don't want to give any spoilers away if you've not seen it, although there are so many people that have seen these films. Frodo and Sam, they are trying to take a powerful ring, the one ring that binds them all. I won't go into it now, but they need to take that ring to the fires of Mount Doom in Mordor, where it will be destroyed, thus preventing the Dark Lord Sauron from returning from the banished world that he was banished to. Yeah? Just go with it. Along the way, they have met a character called Gollum. And he once owns that one ring, but it corrupted him. It corrupted him so much that he is obsessed with it. He has managed to track it down to Frodo and Sam. And they are using Gollum. He's being a guide. He says, yes, I will guide you to the fires of Mount Doom. So they are still journeying, and they want to destroy this ring. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? It's a powerful ring, as I say, so it's very careful, and it corrupts pretty much anyone that owns it. So things are getting a bit tetchy between Frodo, Sam, and Gollum. Now, Frodo and Sam, they do have friends in high places, such as elves and kings with armies. So they are gearing up for war. So so Frodo and Sam, they're off a little quietly trying to destroy the ring. Meanwhile, elsewhere, there's war. War is a brewing. There's the Dark Lord Sauron. He's mustering his army. He's getting all these orcs and these sort of creatures, and then they've got these witch kings, the Nazgûl, which are kind of after the ring, and it's all, as I say, it's all kicking off. So it's basically the ultimate battle. That ultimate battle that is going to decide who wins. Who wins? Either dominance, is it the Dark Lord? Is he going to dominate and destroy the free world? Or is it the free peoples of the world? Are they going to win? So that is basically an overview of the setup. There's so much going on, I can't really give too much detail about the plot. I don't want to give spoilers away. But there are many themes, and there are so many themes in this film as well. Revenge. Yes, revenge is a big, big theme. Now, Gollum, as I say, he wants the ring back. That's basically all I'm going to say. So what are the motives of revenge, just in general? What are motives? There are so many different motives for revenge. And also, what level of revenge are we talking about here? There are different levels of revenge. Is it like low-level revenge, like, I don't know, humiliating somebody in front of people? I guess, that could be a bit of revenge because maybe they did that to you and you kind of just want to get them back. Or is it like a mid-level revenge, like stealing something? Yeah, maybe stealing a ring or something. Or is it more of a high level, the upper echelons, and really dark stuff here, like murder. Revenge can, obviously, take on murder. Or is it a combination? Does one lead to another? In order to fulfill your plan. So say you wanted to steal the ring back, do you have to murder to get the ring back? I'm just putting it out there. So there are, so revenge can lead you down a dark path if you're not careful. is revenge. Revenge by its very nature means that you are causing something to happen to somebody else, and it's not always good. In fact, I'm just trying to think. It's always bad, isn't it? It's always evil. There's no good revenge. So obviously, if you're plotting revenge, if you're going down that path, you, by that very nature, are being corrupted. And you may start to do things, and your actions may lead you to do things that you wouldn't ordinarily do. But you think, no, this is part of the plan. Okay, so maybe things go wrong, and you need to do other things. But because you're so invested in it, you do them. You would do things that you normally wouldn't do. So revenge can be a very corrupting influence. Loyalty. How loyal is somebody? Loyalty runs through a lot of these themes do run through all of the films, but especially in Return of the King, there's loyalty that gets tested. Why is somebody loyal? What actions and values deserve someone's loyalty? Why should you give your loyalty to somebody? Does loyalty come at a cost? Would you only be loyal to somebody because they're going to give you something, like gold, money, or castle, for example, or promise somebody's hand in marriage? So is it free? Would you just give your loyalty for free? And surely, if you give it for free, that is the most secure and the most honourable way of being loyal to somebody. But also, what would break that loyalty? You might give it for free, but if someone then pays you to break that loyalty and to go onto their side, that would corrupt you in that respect. So it does explore all of those questions. The journey that Frodo and Sam, that really tests their loyalty. It tests Sam's loyalty as well. He promises Gandalf to look after Frodo and to see that no harm comes to him. So he makes his own promise to Gandalf. He makes a promise, and that promise is part of his own set of values, his own identity. So anything that comes along to sort of change that, to try and corrupt you, that's a test of your own values and your own morals, isn't it? That tests your own ability to be corrupted or not corrupted, as the case may be. Can you stand up to other people wanting to corrupt you? So that loyalty, and that's just one example. There are other examples of loyalty as well that run through the film. The theme of destiny. Destiny, yes. Now, by now you've probably watched all three films anyway, even if you're watching this review. But if you haven't, I'll try not to give too much spoilers away. But there is one character that is the rightful heir to be the king of the humans, basically. He is the descendant of a king that kind of won the battle and banished the Dark Lord Sauron. So but he's very reluctant. He's very reluctant to step up and to become the king. But is it destiny? Is it destiny that he will fulfill, that he will one day become king? Or if something happens, is it just going to happen anyway? No matter what actions and changes you make to your plan. So say you had a plan and there was an end goal, and you change your plan, you change your actions, things changed the way you had to deviate from your original plan. But then you could still say, well, it was destiny anyway, it was going to happen anyway. So is it written in the stars? Is it always going to happen, or can you influence, can you change destiny? So what do you believe destiny is? Is it a hidden power that is believed to control future events? Is it unavoidable? So whatever you do is destiny. It's going to happen. So, would you believe in destiny? What of believing in destiny, like hope, is it the same? Do you have to believe if it's destiny, it's going to happen anyway, therefore there's a force out there that is going to cause it to happen. But what if you don't believe in that force? So destiny kind of, I guess if it happens anyway, if you don't believe in it, but it happens anyway, somebody could still say, that's destiny. And they go, no, it doesn't. And what proof have you got? I just know it's destiny, it's happened. So it's like, what is that based on? And why would you believe in destiny if you have no actual evidence? And it's kind of impossible to tell. So is destiny, is that bound up with hope and bound up with faith as well? So it could be a way of spurring you on. It could actually be, I believe in destiny, this is going to happen. So if you get setback after setback, you would still say, I believe in destiny. So again, destiny is a big theme that runs through this. Oaths, swearing oaths. Several oaths are sworn by several characters, and some of these characters aren't even alive. I don't want to give too many spoilers away. Anyway, like loyalty, what motivates somebody to actually swear an oath? You know, I thought, yeah, what is an oath? I wanted to find out a bit more about that. You know, I kind of know what an oath is, but so the dictionary I looked it up is a solemn promise, often invoking a divine witness regarding one's future action or behaviour. So again, you've got this divine intervention here, this a divine witness. So it's much more than just a promise. An oath is actually you're swearing something to someone else in front of a divine being. So is that presumably is stronger than a promise. So therefore, if you were to do that and you did believe in this divine being, what would make you break an oath? Why would you break an oath? But also, like hope and like faith, what if you don't believe in a divine being? Swearing oaths would mean nothing to you. So again, you could maybe manipulate that. You would swear an oath knowing full well that you don't believe it, knowing full well then when you break it, you don't feel there's going to be any consequences. So you could use that to manipulate somebody that you've sworn an oath to. So again, it gets a bit complicated with the oath. So what are the motives? The motives, they must be deep-rooted then if you totally believe in an oath. It is swearing an oath without being forced. That must be the purest way, because I guess you could be forced to, you could be threatened to swear an oath. You know, if you saw, let's take this into the fantasy world. If you saw your fellow kings people being killed and then, because you're being under attack, and the king says, no, if you just swear loyalty to me and swear an oath to me, we will stop killing your people. That's not a pure oath, is it? That's under duress. That's being forced. But I guess you would do it because obviously you wouldn't want people to get killed. So, there are many shades to swearing oaths. It's a solemn promise, and if you genuinely believe in it, then that's got to be the purest of promises, hasn't it? So overall, oh yes, so the Return of the King, it just carries on. It's a masterpiece. It carries on. The trilogy does not dip in pace, in interest. The Return of the King, it does have multiple endings. So you feel like things are getting wrapped up and then it carries on and carries on. So if there is a slight criticism, I heard other people say, do you think it's finished and then it goes on? And you think it's finished and then it carries on. But you know what? I actually quite like that because stories never really end. There is no beginning, middle and end. So I feel like it reflects that. And because there was so much, it feels such an epic journey, especially if you watched the extended versions. You've watched over 9 hours of this story. Just to sort of oh yeah, and that happens, and we'll tie it all up in like 5 minutes. It would feel unequal. It wouldn't feel right. It would feel dissatisfying. So to have these multiple endings, to wrap it up and then keep wrapping up, for me it was really satisfying. And my half facts. I do recall, I've watched lots of documentaries. Tolkien actually said he didn't want to finish it. It took him something like 12 years to write. He didn't want to finish it. He loved the world so much. And so the multiple endings do reflect that he wanted the story to carry on and carry on and carry on. And once again, the production values on this are amazing. There's even bigger battles, there's bigger, storylines. It all comes, and they really tie it up. And by the end of it, you do feel like you've gone on this epic quest. You feel like you've taken this ring, and you care. I mean, it's just a ring, but you care. You're wrapped up into it, and that is the genius of Lord of the Rings, of the way they have filmed this. The acting again is superb. Even new characters come in, like the Return of the King, like the Two Towers. You get new characters. You don't go, oh, they're not the same as it. You embrace them because again, it's done so well. It does feel like you've been through the experience, and you can't ask for more than that. When you go to the cinema, when you watch a film, when you read a book or anything like that, you want to be in the action. You want to be there. You want to be as though you're part of that world, and you certainly feel like that. I love watching these films. I watch them, as I say, once a year, and I enjoy them. They're an event for me. So why is that? Why is the psyche being touched so much by so many people? The books have sold millions and millions and millions of copies. And I believe it's because the themes are so, he explores the themes in such depth, and he builds the world so realistically. It is basically a mirror of our world. Obviously everything we write is. But he does it in such a way that you get drawn into it, you care for the characters, and you want to be involved. And for me, that is why, well, there's loads of reasons, but why it's a world that you want to explore. You know, I want to go off further. I want to get, go on my own little adventure there. There's been so many spin-offs and video games, and, that people want to exist in this world, and you can't ask for anything better than that. And that is good fantasy. That's what good fantasy is. Fantasy really reflects what's going on in our society at the time that it's written, or the time that a film's been made. And that's exactly what you get with this. Tolkien was in an era where war was looming, war was threatened, war happened. Also, industrialization was happening. More and more trees were being pulled down. Where he lived, there was a woods where he lived. He loved playing in it. He loved talking to the trees. He loved being in nature. And yet they were being threatened with being pulled down and industrialised. I mean, luckily they weren't. Some were, but some weren't. And you can still go there now. It's in Birmingham, and you can still go there. And there's a mill. There's the mill that's featured. That is still there, and you can go around. And it's a museum there, so check that out. So yeah, what can I say? There's just a few facts here. I said at the end of the Two Towers, the facts. I got my facts slightly wrong with the Two Towers. So the budget for the Two Towers, Part 2, was 94 million. That's the same as Return of the King. But the box office taking for the Two Towers was 926 million, not 1.1 million. But it goes up. So I was saying the actual facts for the Return of the King. So yeah, so both films, The Two Towers and The Return of the King, had a budget of 94 million. Box office takings for this one were 1.1 billion. The total budget for all three films was 281 million, which is a huge amount, but you can see where the money's been spent. I mean, it just looks so amazing. The total takings worldwide for all three films is 2.9 billion. Now, you don't make that sort of money if these films are rubbish. I mean, so there we go. It was this Return of the King was nominated for 11 Oscars, and you know what? It won all 11 Oscars. It won all 11 categories. Not many films have done that. I think it's only the second or third film that has actually done that, which is amazing. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. What more can someone else say? But there's so much that has been read and said and videoed about Lord of the Rings. It's a phenomena. And it's one of those things that really sits in your heart. And Christopher Lee, who's in the films, fantastic actor, legend, Hollywood legend, he said he loved Lord of the Rings. He read the books every year without fail. He absolutely adored them. And millions of people do. They absolutely adore it. And these films, the books, have had so much influence over the whole of fantasy genre. I mean, you wouldn't get J.K. Rowling without Tolkien. You wouldn't get Philip Pullman without Tolkien. You wouldn't get loads of others. You wouldn't get Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin. You wouldn't get that. So we've got a lot to thank Tolkien for, and also a lot to thank Peter Jackson and for all the people. The credits alone on these films take like 25-30 minutes. I mean, that's crazy talk. So hundreds and hundreds, thousands of people worked on these films. So without all their hard work and dedication, it shows they loved it. I get very passionate about these films. So I'm going to stop talking now. So anyway, if you haven't seen it, wow, go see it. Go buy the extended version. You will love it. You will absolutely adore these films. Whew, there we go. The Return of the King. Wow, what an epic journey. Probably, no, I'm going to say it, the best fantasy trilogy ever made, ever. And will still be for another 50, 60, 70, 100 years probably. Such an amazing masterpiece. These are masterpieces in filmmaking. They're amazing. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed that. We have also reviewed other Tolkien-esque, Tolkien stuff as well. The Hobbit BBC radio dramatisation, check that out. We've also done a review of the Hobbit novel, mainly because it's quite quick to read. We will be doing the Lord of the Rings books, but I'll let you into a little secret. I've only read the first part. I've only read The Fellowship. So I didn't really want to do a compare and contrast video of the books to the films. There's other videos that are out there on that. So I will be cracking on. I'm going to reread part 1 again, and I'm going to read them back to back. So hopefully, well, they're big books, but hopefully we will do, over 3 weeks, we will explore the actual books, because they are very different to the films. We've also reviewed the Lord of the Rings 1978 animated version, so check that as well. And we have chatted about the Middle-earth Festival that takes place every year in Birmingham. So if you've not been, thoroughly recommend that. And, why not check out our reviews? That's Julian and I chatting about that, about my experiences of when I went there. Thank you so much for watching. As I say, we have over 400 episodes on our YouTube channel. But remember to keep it unreal, especially if you are the Lord of the Rings.